Morning, team. Thank you, Robert, for the introduction. I wanted to go over about the Fannie Freddie Mac's refinance product, but throughout the conversation we had the last MLOs meeting and the videos that we promised, we're going to talk about different topic today. We're going to cover the refinance, the structures, and the files next time. What we're going to go over today will be the 5 major things. I'm sure this will help all of us to alleviate any of these miscommunications or details. Regards to how to pull the credit report and import, and how to complete the 1003 in the eyes of the processors, and how to export the XML file. This XML is the Fannie Mae 3.4 that you can use to submit loan files from lender to lender to investor. Using the ERP, how do we export it? How do we import it back to Calyx Point? How do we submit the loans using this information? Leading into running AUS, automatic underwriting approval certificate, with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And finally, how to review. What topics, what information, what details do you need to watch out, especially when you review these documents? So I'm going to open up one video at a time. So combined, there will be about 23, 24-minute long videos. So stay tuned. And after each video, if you have any questions, please stop and let me know. Okay?
So now we're in the KCB credit top.
Do you guys hear the video?
We don't see the video.
You don't see the activity? How about now?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
So now we're in the KCB credit top left. You'll see order credit report. Click that and input. Now, just a reminder, you should only put name and SSN, date of birth, and full address only. You should never put a phone number or email, since this is going out as a public. Click order. Now we got the credit reports. Copy the file number on the top left corner. Go back to Calyx, save it, reissue report, and copy and paste the number, file number, submit. Okay. We know click ignore zero balance. Click populate. All right. Now you have successfully imported a credit report to the file. And this is all you need to do to fill out the Calyx Point. Thanks for watching.
So if you take a look into this video,
All right.
there are 2 things that you need to watch out for. One, when you fill out the creditor's information, for hard pull credit report, please click CTI, Credit Technology Inc. And for the soft pull, click KCB. And at this stage, the system will ask for the login ID and password. Before you run the AUS or import credit report, you have to log into the agency website first, register the IP address so that the software picks up which data point will be pulled. Any questions?
So you don't put any phone numbers or email address on when we run the credit, correct?
We don't have to.
Oh, you don't have to. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So all
and
you need is
what triggers them, right? And then
address, social security number, date of birth, address.
Yeah, because if we put the numbers in, that's what triggers them, and then that's when they get all those calls, right?
Not necessarily. Our consumers' data are already leaked. Even though we don't pull it, even though we pull a credit report without their phone number through the CTI or KCB website, they already know.
Okay.
So I hope later this month. When is the trigger lead end?
It should end this month, right? In March. Yeah. That's all I used to call it, just trigger lead.
Yes, it is effective March 5th. This week, trigger lead will be no longer bothering our clients. It will become an illegal activity. It used to be a fine. It used to be do not call list, whatever, but it will become an illegal activity if we get involved. And it'll be easier for us to capture and maintain all these people right now. Any other questions? If not, let's move on. This is how to complete 1003 in Calyx Point in the loan officer perspective.
Team, today I'm going to show you how to fill out the Calyx Point using the client data on ERP. I am working on a client with 750K condominium purchase transaction. For the first page, you will enter information such as name, phone number, email address. and subject address. So for this section, I'm going to type in current address. Let's put number of years. And for subject address, I'm going to put, and for the attachment type, you will put type of the property. Since this is condominium, I'm going to put attached for both. No on the mixed use property. No, it's not a manufactured home. The number of units 1 in this case. And I'm going to put my name on the originator section, Gia as my processor. And I am going to put a 7.25 for the rate. And this is 30-year mortgage, so I'm going to put 360. Appraiser value at 750K, and down payment will be 20%. All right, let's move down. Take a look at the homeowner's insurance. Click that.
Is the screen too blurry? How about now?
Yeah, that's better.
And put 0.25. And for the county property taxes, this is located in LA. I'm going to put 1.25 of appraisal value, and I'll put, it's just an estimate figure, but I'm going to put 400 as HOA. For section 1A, we will put a personal information. So in this case, my client, she is not married, so I'm going to put unmarried, and I'm going to say no on unmarried addendum. The mailing address is same as current address, so I'm just going to click that. And for section 1B, you will put in employer information. So in this case, she is self-employed. Make sure you put in a start date of employment.
Better?
If you scroll it down, you'll see where you can indicate business owner and self-employed. I'm going to click that. She has ownership shared of 25% or more. So I'm going to click that as well. So if you're done with this, let's move on to section 2 and 3. In the section 2 and 3, you will input a assets and liability. Let's start with the assets first. She has savings account in Bank of America. Account number ending in account type is checking. Enter the amount. Now, after you're done with that, let's move on to section 2C, liability section, where you can import the credit report. In order to import a credit report, you will have to order it from kcbcredit.com.
So on the previous video, let's go back.
Hello, GT.
On the subject property, if you don't know the subject address, after you click copy from present address on the street, put TBD. This will resolve additional data input. And if it's, as you know, the number of units 1 through 4, and if it's purchase, depending on the loan type, depending on the occupancy type, depending on the loan type, you'll be able to click different things, and detail will pick up from which filtering that you apply for the loan file. And the loan terms can change from 10 years all the way to 30 years. When there's an HOA, you put the HOA in. When you apply for a down payment assistance program that talks about payment shock, you put the number of monthly rent. Click add, choose monthly rent, and put it on there. Otherwise, if it's rate and term refinance or cash out, housing payment must be in there. Investment purchase as well for the refinances. And when you run the DU, the employment section showing the continuity of the employer line of work is as important as the primary residence address. So do not miss to click the primary on 1B. Put in as many details as possible. And when you have multiple employment, you can click new and add another one. And if you click the employment status, you can have 2 or more jobs by selecting multiple primary job information. And if you click show all, you'll be able to see multiple in list.
I'm going to click that.
And when it's business owner, you drag it down and click business owned, ownership lesser than 25 or more than 25. For section 2A, this is where you put the source of funds. It could be stocks, IRA, 401k, checking, or savings. And when you go down, there's another section on the number 3 where it talks about the REOs. When you are talking about an investor who has multiple properties, or rate and term refinances, that's where you put the property address and you tie with the 2C. When there is a home with $100,000 mortgage, when the credit report shows $100,000 mortgage account, then you need to pair them. Let's go to the next video. How to export XML from ERP import into Calyx. Oh, sorry.
I do, Peter.
Yes.
Can you go back to the real estate, where you build the schedule of real estate owned? I just wanted to get clarification of where to enter other liabilities and if they're tied to an address or how to build that.
It's not on this video. We're gonna send you a updated video. Harrison,
Okay.
Brenda, can you both hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Please, update this video to cover up to page 9. We stopped at page 3. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Brenda, can you share your screen right now with us and show us a 1003 or Calyx Point page 3?
So this is section 2 and 3. At the top here, this is where we add in all of our assets. So if it's a purchase, all of the bank statements, that would go in here. We'd complete the company's name, the account type, whether it's a checking, savings, CD, account number, and then the balance number. Our liabilities, I think this one stopped here. This is showing, the next step for this video shows where to run credit and then importing the credit. I don't know if Peter, you want me to show that right now?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
We can move on.
And then this, if you scroll down to the bottom section, this is where the REO goes. So this file actually is a purchase, but if they have for refinance, if they have a home or if they have any additional homes, even though it's a purchase, this is where you would put it, their address, the number of units, if it has an ADU. You need to complete the property value, whether they're keeping it, they're selling it, or if it was already sold and it's still showing on their credit report. Their intended occupancy. So sometimes they purchase a property, but they're currently living it as a primary, and then they're going to change an investment. That's where you would put it with their current occupancy. The taxes, insurance, and HOA goes in here. So if they are currently impounding on the credit report, which will show on the other video, I only put the HOA balance here, so it doesn't get calculated twice. But if it's not being impounded, we have to include their monthly taxes, insurance, and HOA here. And then we have also on this section here, the occupancy rate. So if it's an investment home, if we're using 75% of the occupancy, we can put the rental income and it would calculate the net rent as well.
Thank you. Sorry about that. So we're gonna send you guys all these videos after the meeting. So when you have additional questions about specific part on the 1003, you can reach out to us or continue watching the video. Any other questions? If not, let's move on. Thank you, Brenda. Can you stop the screen share? Thank you. Moving into how to export XML from ERP. So on the prospect applicant, you'll have a button here. Or you have a button on the XML. Okay? So you can export it, import it to Calyx Point. On the prospect, you can also export the prospect file back into the actual files. If you have active file, you can edit, you can move. There are multiple ways that you can move in between the Power application and prospect application so that you don't have to manually input the same data set over and over again. And once the DU is ran from your XML file, all the other things will be easier as we follow along. All we need to change is either income or the loan amount or possibly homeowners insurance for debt to income ratio, right? But the major piece of the debt to income and the LTV will be covered at the day of the submission. Any questions about the XML file?
Yeah, so you pointed out the XML logo. So what do we do with it? We just click it?
So I'll just give you a hypothetical file. Give me 1 second. Let's assume that my borrower, one of the applicant applied. Click XML. You're gonna have a downloads file here. On the Calyx Point, go to borrower, click new blank file, click OK. And this is where you begin. Go to file, import from, click 3.4, and find the XML file and upload and import. And within a couple seconds, information from ERP will be transferred into Calyx Point. Now you save the file from here. This is and let's assume that you wanted to export this file and move it back into ERP. Go to File, Export to, Fannie Mae 3.4, and I'm going to rename it however you want to. And within a couple of seconds, you'll be able to see the mouse cursor. Now, right now, it's invisible because it's saving. Once it's saved, the cursor will come back. So the server inputs the data, brings it back. That takes about 5 to 10 seconds. And now we have the file ready. Let's go back to the ERP. On the Create Prospect Applicant, you can click Import XML. You can click or drop, or choose a file, upload, and preview import. And when the import is done, this is how you create the prospect applicant file. So all the information that you've seen in the application is now into prospect. You can add comments, or the comments from the loan software or loan submission page will be transferred to the prospect when you have the same doc ID number. And again, once you complete these, and if you want to complete the 1003 again using the ERP, you can do so. Re-export. Let's assume that we are going to export this updated ERP. And within the same file, I'm going to import, overwrite with different XML file. And once that's done, you can save it, overwrite it, and then run DULP again. Purpose of doing this is, number one, to minimize the miscommunication within the processing team and the loan officer, that we can seamlessly run DULP with this setup. Second is to eliminate any of the miscommunication with XML file. Right now, importing, exporting wasn't working as much as we were supposed to. And as we showed you before, this button is workable, and this XML import export button are also workable.
So now, Peter, when do we still need to do a loan? Do LOs need to still do a loan submission?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And
So
what
from
is
here,
uh-huh.
importing XML here will be done later this week. It's in the works. So when you see the prospect, do you see the import XML file here? On the loan submission, we're going to have an XML upload button here as well. So
what exactly is the point of the loan submission?
loan submission is to find out the rate, investor program, and the lender name, and the fee. What we are going through right now is answering same set of questions from, shall we charge this fee? How much is this? Is it impound or not? All the way to, so which program are we selecting? So within NMSI, full doc, first-time homebuyer product are divided into 6. We don't know which of the 6 the processing team or submission desk needs to select to submit them. So when you run the loan sifter, what we ask of you is put the program name as well. Because what we have seen is asking processing team to charge $2,000 the origination fee and give $4,000 lender credit on the day of submission. And when the loan was locked and about to close, loan officer comes back and asks, can we remove that lender credit again? Or can we bring up the loan origination fee to $6,000? We can't touch that. We cannot touch the APR. We either kill the file, restart, or we have to do it internal, the logistics to make it happen. But it takes time. And in case this doesn't go through, and in case the clear to close doesn't happen, what are we going to do? When the APR changes, the file has to go back to the underwriting, and who knows how many hours or days it will take to come back. You may say, I only removed the origination fee to maybe $2,000. This is unfair for our underwriter to review one small thing that takes about 6 hours to review. But in the underwriter's perspective or the investor's perspective, it's first time, first served situation. Whether you had 10 different questions or one question, they treat it the same way. So in order for us to minimize going back and forth from surprisingly impound is the major question that comes up every single time. Loan programs come up every single time. I don't understand, but it's okay. We'll develop our system so we can overcome this, miscommunication errors. Any other questions? If not, let's move on to the next video.
Is there a certain format, for purposes of standardization, that you want the LOs to name the file in?
No, sir.
Calyx. Okay.
So if it's your file, you'll only see your own files. So for example, this is hypothetical statement. If the details that you saved in Calyx Point is not showing on the ERP, if you screen capture the Calyx Point file name, give it to the processing team, and they'll be able to pull it out. Everything is synced right now. So for me, putting the first name underscore type of loan, whether it's purchase or refi, if it's multiple transactions, I also put the street number. I don't put full address. If it's 123 Main Street for Peter Kim's purchase, then I put Peter Kim dash purchase dash 123 or Peter Kim underscore purchase underscore 123. However you want to do it. As the number of files grow, when it becomes too much, it's going to be difficult. Some right now are saving the file as a doc ID or loan number. That's perfectly fine. But when you have 10, 15 different files or same purchase client coming back as a refinance file, good luck finding the same Calyx file. You can, if you have a way to locate that specific file. But if not, you can start from searching through last name or first name or etc. And if you want to delete some of the files, let us know. I don't think we gave the loan officers right to authorize to delete any Calyx files in the system. But we can. When you accidentally saved more than 3, 4, files, you can. The purpose of deleting occurs in two ways. If the LPDU doesn't run, so when the Calyx file is attached to the loan number or Fannie Mae case number attached to the loan number, we cannot re-identify and reassign the case number to a different loan number. We may call it multiple double submission, right? Back in the days, we were instructed to submit one purchase file into 4 different investors at the same time. And anyone who gives the approval faster, we were able to pick it up and fund. That logistic doesn't work anymore because of the system change. We were able to multi-submit, but we cannot multi-submit every single time. If it's a mini correspondent and broker files, we cannot. Non-del, we can up to certain numbers. When you submit at the 4th or 5th time, the DU won't run. When that happens, first DU that we have approved is not going to work. Ultimately, we have to repull the credit because we pretty much damaged the credit report of the file number. As you run multiple DUs from your end, you'll see what I'm trying to say. But you have to take a look what kind of error messages pop up so that you don't have to, and you will not be able to. Any other questions? If not, let's move on to how to run DU.
So for our AUS or the DU or LP to run, most of the information does have to be imported into it. So we want to make sure that our Calyx Point is completed as much as possible. Especially on purchase files, we want to make sure we have asset information in there. In this case, they have a bunch of accounts, so that's great. But if let's say we don't have any asset accounts, and it's a purchase and we need to run AUS, we do want to put in something in our asset tab here to cover enough for the down payment and closing cost. Okay. So even if we don't have like an actual like a checking account, we can just put checking. The bank name we can just put TBD and then just put cash amount or value. Okay. So I'm not sure if you already know, but you can go to this on the left hand side, the cash to close, and it should tell us how much it's expected for our bar to bring into. So as long as the asset amount we have is over this one, we should technically be okay for our AUS to run and come back as eligible. So when we run our AUS, it needs to come back as approved eligible in order for us to be able to go ahead and proceed and submit the file. Sometimes it'll come back as approved ineligible. That means something is wrong and it needs to be fixed, or at least we need to find what's wrong to fix it to be able to run it and get approved eligible. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So when running the AUS, we're going to, at the top here, we're going to go to services. So Fannie Mae is going to be for DU and Freddie Mac is going to be for our LP. Okay. For the most part, we do run mostly DU. Unless specified, then we'll run the LP. But so you're going to go to Fannie Mae and then you're going to click this Fannie Mae DO/DU. So then this Fannie Mae request is going to pop up. When it's your first time running it, you're going to want to click the drop-down menu and select credit and underwriting because it has to pull the credit report. Once we've ran it and we have a case file ID number here and you need to run it again, you only need to select underwriting. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So first time credit and underwriting, our submission is always going to be preliminary, especially since we're running the AUS at the beginning to make sure that the file works. If you click on the dropdown, there are two other options. But in our case, because we're running AUS, just to make sure that the file is doable, we're just going to always select preliminary. Okay. Our credit company here, you want to select the credit company that we ran the credit report with. This file was KCB. Like I said, I just submitted it yesterday, so I know for a fact it was KCB. But note that we also run credit through Credit Technology. Possibly moving forward, most of the time it will be Credit Technology though. Okay. But always, you can always double check if you pull up the client folder, and you go to their folder and just pull up their credit report. In this case, like I said, it's KCB here. Okay.
Okay.
So once you enter the KCB, your credentials should populate on here. As you can see, mine are grayed out. It's already updated. It's populated. Once you have this, you're going to select the submit button. Once you submit it, it's going to run it. And then the file, if it comes approved eligible, it'll show a new pop-up will show up and it'll tell you approved eligible. You can double click it and then that file will show up. So I'm going to show you a DU here. So we usually label it DU underscore the address name underscore the date that we ran it. So for this, this was a DU for an FHA file. So let's go over that one. This one. So this DU here, this is usually what the DU will look like when it's from our Calyx Point. As you can see right here, it does state approved eligible. It has our bars information. The date that they issue, it has a first date of the issue of the AUS. The submission date is the date that this AUS was actually ran. Submission number, how many times it's already been run. So every time we run AUS, it'll be added. So we don't want to constantly have to run AUS. So we want to make sure that we have, like I said, you want to make sure that the file is completed as much as possible before we run that first AUS. So hopefully that first one gives us the approved eligible. Okay. And then if you scroll a little bit down, it's going to have information in terms of the mortgage, the loan that we're trying to do, the property information. No, we do run AUS on TBD properties. The property address will state TBD, but just note that we do need to put in the city, state, and zip code. So when I showed you the Calyx Point, I always said, even if it's TBD, make sure you put a zip code, even if it matches their current address. So we have this section here where it tells us whether they are eligible for an appraisal waiver or a PIW, also known. Usually it'll have a check mark that says eligible if it is PIW eligible. Okay, and then it goes on to give us a little bit of information that it ran or pulled in terms of our file. Anything that they might consider could be risky, anything that they may consider an issue, and then all their findings in terms of the credits, in terms of their income, in terms of everything on the file pretty much that gets ran, right? So I'm not going to go into detail for everything, but all the way at the bottom, again, it kind of breaks down everything again, but I'm trying to get, oh, that's fine. The funds section, this bottom section here, if there are any purchases, it should tell us how much money the borrower needs to bring in. If there are any reserves required, it'll tell you how many reserves required. So sometimes even though we have, let's say like this one here, we have 180,000, there on our Calyx Smart Cash to close is 177,000, right? So we should be okay, but let's say we ran it and got approved ineligible. We want to come and check here and it'll tell us how many funds are required that are including our reserves. So let's say we had 6 months reserves, and so now we're short. We don't have enough funds in our Calyx Point to cover our
6 months.
final funds plus the 6 months.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So always you want to check this bottom section here. Like I said, it'll tell us how much money the borrower needs to have in their Calyx Point for technically for us to be able to overrun it and get the approved eligible.
Mhm.
Okay. Not sure if you've already, you said you ran AUS before, so I'm not sure if you've kind of already went over the,
Yeah, we do.
what the DU. So like this one here, it says it's a PAW.
Mhm.
So the value acceptance here, like I said, has to be a check mark and it says eligible.
Mhm.
So as long as this value acceptance is eligible, we can we don't have to order an appraisal. We, like I said, we would have a PAW. Let me see, and I want to find, let's see if I can find an ineligible one. Yeah. Usually, if it's ineligible, it'll stay approved, and then this
Ineligible.
one must be ineligible. Yeah. So if you were to scroll down under their findings, it'll this risk factors. It'll tell us like what is like what's causing the file to not be eligible. And like I said, once we kind of go over and try to fix those issues, once we run it, it should populate as approved eligible.
Okay.
Okay. Right now, for your first time, you are going to have to update your the AUS. So you're going to go to utilities, and then you're going to go to Fannie Mae connectivity, and then you want to make sure that desktop originator is checked off. It's going to be this username here. I'll forward it to you, and then I'll update the password. So you're going to want to update the username and password, because if you don't update that, then it's not going to show you. It's not going to let you run the AUS. So you do need to connect to the Fannie Mae to be able to run AUS. Again, for the most part, we do only run for DU, but if we were to run for an LP, like I said, you just select Freddie Mac and then do the loan product advisor. And it's going to be similar to the other one. You want to select for the first time underwriting and credit. Any additional times of running the LP, just select underwriting. Okay. The credit, we will just leave it as Equifax. Technical affiliated, you want to select the actual credit company that we're using. Like I said, it can be either KCB or Credit Technology. And then you just want to hit submit.
All right. Any questions?
For FHA,
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. So for FHA, when you run AUS, you need the IEN number, correct?
You need the FHA lender ID.
ID, yes, lender ID.
Yes, on the government section. But
Yeah,
for
government.
FHA deals, you don't have to run it until you master the conventional conforming.
Mhm.
You don't have to run VA, or VA is easy, fairly simple, as easy as conventional. You just click the loan type as a VA and run the deal.
Okay. Yeah, because I was able to do it for conventional, but I was running with FHA with that issue with that loan ID number in the government
Yes,
section.
lender ID will provide it to you. We need additional setup to do so. We don't recommend you to do it just because we are not endorsed with FHA at this time. If you accidentally run it and give it to the investor right away, you cannot use the same credit report anymore.
Oh, okay.
So right now, because we are non-delegated, we can do preliminary report.
Okay.
If you give it to them accidentally, then you cannot resubmit elsewhere. You have to submit them.
Okay. And for mobile homes, do you have to run AUS as well? Or do you?
No, you don't.
No, you don't? Okay.
Because they don't use tri-merge.
Okay. So for mobile homes, I still complete the Calyx Point and everything, right?
Yes. So Triad will do their own due diligence.
Okay.
It'll be helpful for processors to submit. So if you want your mobile home purchase loan to be submitted the same day, we still expect you to complete the 1003.
Okay. Because I'm doing a mobile home right now. I just haven't ran the credit report, so I just run it regularly.
Yes. Do you have any feedback, Jesse, or Brenda, anyone?
Well, for mobile homes, because they only go, I believe it's Equifax that they use to see the bar, I would just suggest running a soft pull for just that one bureau because they don't see the other tri-merge. And we don't provide our credit report to them. They run their own credit report. So just so that you can quote them accurately, I would say just run a soft pull with just Equifax. But I will double check if it's Equifax or Experian. I'm pretty sure it's Equifax, but I haven't done one in a while, so I'll double check and get back to you.
Great. Anything else? So we went over how to run AUS, how to review AUS. I know it's a little bit of details, but after today's meeting, we're gonna compile the edited versions of the videos and send it, share it with your team. So if you have any specific questions about the details, Brenda, please open your calendar this week and next week so that you can do one-on-one with our loan officers. Before you call, please log into the credit agency portal from your Google Chrome. You register your IP address before you reach out to us so that we can go into details right away. And second,